to the edge. Behind the scenes.
Freeze me so one day you can bring me back again.
I'm on Star Trek. Oh, wait, what do you do? Well, I play an alien.
He just scared my pants off. I'm the baby, gotta love me.
Beyond new worlds.
Would you like to take a trip in here?
On the edge of today's fantasies.
Look within your dreams.
And tomorrow's realities.
The world's first wearable pen PC.
Mike Jarek.
Let me show you around.
And guest appearances by Harlan Ellison. Sci-Fi Buzz. Coming up next.
I've got your wing covered. Too close for a missile.
You are watching the Sci-Fi Channel.
We're buzzing with the holiday spirit. Leonard Nimoy, Dean Koontz, and the Mad Mother Shower Curtain. This week, Leonard Nimoy helps launch a new enterprise. Not a starship, but a comic book. Best-selling novelist Dean Koontz and his sympathetic psychopath. The reigning ruler of resin heads, model sculptor Randy Bowen. And we buzz back to the 60s to get some thrills from Boris Karloff's Thriller.
Someone is in mortal danger as sure as my name is Boris Karloff.
It's beginning to look a lot like Sci-Fi Buzz. Mike Jarek here. Hey, let's get right to the goodies. This is our holiday show. And for all your horror fans out there, check this out. Do you like to shop in catalogs? I got this from a catalog called Brainstorms. It's Bona Lisa. Get it? You can get all sorts of items from Brainstorms by calling the 800 number you see on the screen. This shirt right here, $16.95. Now, Brave Dave over here, could you model that for us, please?
Be glad to.
A shower curtain we're calling the Mad Mother of Shower Curtains. This is guaranteed to give a morning chill to all your friends as they take a shower at your house. This comes from Time Warner's catalog for gift ideas called Viewer's Edge. I have no idea how much that costs, but they guarantee the quality that you'd have at some of the best motels. Or is that Bates Motel? Oh, and Susan Hyman has some gift ideas, right, Susan?
Of course. How about a comic book?
Ooh, that's pretty.
Leonard Nimoy's Primordials.
Now, if I know you, Susan, you got Leonard to sign this, didn't you? Yes, you did. Isn't that nice?
Hey, just imagine. You know what this thing's going to be worth in about 50 years?
Oh.
$20.
I'm taking it. Bye. Recently, a host of celebs gathered at the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. They came to celebrate the launch of an exciting new multimedia comic book endeavor called Techno Comics.
I'm back in a business I've been in for 55 years. And I got my book coming out in May, and that's Mike Danger is going to be coming out, which is a forerunner of Mike Hammer.
To create these new titles, Techno Comics has recruited an array of illustrious names, including the great writer Mickey Spillane, Gene Roddenberry's widow, Majel Barrett Roddenberry, and Star Trek alumnus Leonard Nimoy. Nimoy's brainchild, Primordials, is the first to be released under the Techno Comics banner. As he explained to the crowd gathered here, Nimoy decided to enter the comic book business after consulting with his pal from Vulcan, Mr. Spock.
I said, Spock, I have this problem. I have this offer, and I don't quite know what to do about it. I've worked in television, I've worked in films, I've worked as an actor, director, writer. I have published books of poetry. I did my autobiography probably too early. Maybe I'll do it again. I have done recordings, which Rhino Records and Golden Throat keep reminding me of. But I don't know about this comic book thing, and I don't quite know what to do. And there was a silence, and Spock said, do you have other offers?
Later in the evening, we were able to sit down and have a personal chat with Mr. Nimoy.
The art in comic books today, the art in Primordials, is extremely cinematic. And I understand that. I have a feeling for it. I loved comic books as a kid. This stuff is very energetic. The drawings are very exciting. And I was really interested in doing it as a comic book.
Nimoy hit upon the idea for Primordials while doing research for Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. He was at MIT studying their SETI program, which stands for Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. When he learned there were humans sending out signals in hopes of making contact with other life forms, he started to turn over the story possibilities in his mind. And after bouncing ideas off the late dean of science fiction, Isaac Asimov, Primortals was born.
Well, I think you have to have a subject matter that's intriguing, and have a grip on an idea that has a reason for existence, is the simplest way I can put it. That is not just a rip-off of another story that's been told before, but really has its own special reason for existing. And for me, it started with the SETI program. I don't think any of these stories has ever been told from that point of view before, from the point of view of the people who are designing the equipment to detect another civilization.
With the digital revolution at hand, Techno-Comics has been designed to take advantage of expanding mediums like CD-ROM, comic video, computer internet, and ultimately television and film. Yes, it seems Mr. Spock gave Leonard Nimoy some highly logical advice. Hot-selling author Dean Koontz and Boris Karloff's chilling 60s TV series, Thriller, after this rejuvenating respite.
Here's a chip that's got more ridginess. New Pringles Ridges, it's more crunch, yeah. If crunch is what you can't resist, a Pringles Ridge is more crunch than this. Crunch, yeah. Golden tasty crunciousness, not this bag chip greasy mess. Crunch, yeah. The Pringles Ridges, it's more crunch, yeah. More crunch. Once you pop, you can't stop.
When Jeffrey catches a cold, we see the pediatrician.
I love my pediatrician. He's my dad.
He recommends Dimetap Elixir. Jeffrey really likes the grape taste.
Alcohol-free Dimetap, the brand pediatricians recommend most for colds.
Are those for Santa? I happen to know that the Jolly One is partial to this chocolate. Besides, he is leaving me a bevy of Yuletide booty.
Oh, you were good.
No, that's what the M&Ms are for.
Oh.
You are watching Sci-Fi Buzz on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Want to know what's coming up on the Sci-Fi Channel? Call 1-900-773-SFCS for a current schedule, including series episodes and movie descriptions. Call costs 95 cents per minute. Average call is 2 minutes.
I have an announcement to make. Cold-blooded murder is more popular than ever. Touché.
Moving to 1 p.m. Eastern beginning January 2nd.
No one travels in time.
What?
These guys do.
I'm ready to leap now.
Step into the Quantum Leap Accelerator and journey through time with Dr. Stan Beckett.
Oh, boy.
And his guide, Al. Quantum Leap on the Sci-Fi Channel. Tomorrow at 8, 5 Pacific.
In the Horror Cube with Brave Dave. Folks, this guy really thinks he's an elf. It's very weird. Dave, any ideas for Christmas, huh?
Well, this latest Dean Koontz novel is really different, Mike.
But it's not horror.
Well, it's got some classic Koontz stuff, but Dark Rivers of the Heart also delves into the relationship between a psychopathic father and his fugitive son. It's really cool.
Sounds like a crowd pleaser. Author Dean Koontz works on his bestsellers 10 hours a day, many times 7 days a week. He lives in Southern California with his wife, Gerda, who he has known since high school. After 25 years of writing, Koontz is so successful that his books appear in 33 languages, with worldwide sales totaling more than 125 million copies. But what most people don't know about Dean Koontz is he started as a sci-fi writer.
First book I ever sold was to Ace Books and an Ace double. And of course I'd read the Ace science fiction doubles since I was a kid, and this was a great excitement to me. But I was told by Don Wollheim at the time, who was the editor at Ace, that they couldn't pay me the $1,250 that Ace always paid for one half of the double because my half was too short. They'd have to get a longer book for the other side of the double, and they'd have to pay that writer more money. So they'd have to pay me less, so they offered $1,000. Well, it was very exciting to me to get any payment at anything I'd written, so I leaped on it and said, yes, of course, I'll take the $1,000. Years later, I ran into the writer on the other half, and I had noticed when the book came out that there wasn't a whole lot of difference in the size of our novels. And later, when I ran into that writer at a convention, one of the few I've ever gone to, I said to him jokingly that he made out at my expense. And he blanched and said, no, they had to pay me only $1,000 because my book was too short, and they had to couple it with a longer one. So both of us got paid $1,000, and Ace kept $500, which always amazed me.
Although he started in sci-fi, Koontz has always been driven to write what interests him at the time. In his early years, he wrote under 9 different names in a lot of different genres. His current style is one that is impossible to type. It combines action, psychological terror, and humor. And in recent books, Koontz has developed characters that he calls sympathetic psychopaths.
In Watchers, one thing people like about that book is that the monster in it, the thing that escapes from the lab, has its own dimensions that are interesting beyond just its talent for killing. There's a scene in that where you find a cave it's been living in, and it's collected little pathetic belongings, a little Mickey Mouse toy and a little rug and a comic book or something, and it's kind of real poignant and distressing to see that it has this life that it wishes it was something different than what it is. And that pumps up the fearsomeness of the character. Really, this goes back, you could say the same is true of Frankenstein. That's why Frankenstein is scarier, because within that monster there's something there struggling to have a life, to have something beyond the something normal in his life, and that makes him, it gives him dimension. It makes him more exciting. For me, it makes him a lot more interesting to write about. I also like to, in Dark Rivers of the Heart, and you say, well, I really like this guy. Why should I like this guy? He's a sociopathic killer. And this, I think, this is more real. It makes the person more true to life. It's why in real life, people who live next door to a guy who buried 30 people in his basement will say, well, he always seems so pleasant. And they always say that, or, well, he's the last person I would have thought. Well, that's because he's not some guy who walks around glaring at people normally, unless he's completely over the deep edge, and doesn't walk around dressed in black with his collar pulled up higher than his head. He's a normal person to outward appearances. That's what makes him more frightening, and that's what makes him more frightening in the books, I think.
Terror has the human form divine.
Are you still in search of the perfect Christmas gift for the horror aficionados on your list? MCA has plumbed the recesses of their video vaults and unearthed a horror lover's delight. Boris Karloff's 1960s TV series, Thriller, has been all but forgotten. Now, 6 episodes of the terrifying anthology series are available to one and all on video. The collection is called Thriller, hosted by Boris Karloff. 67 episodes of Thriller aired on NBC between 1960 and 1962. The series attempted to repeat the success of 2 other creepy anthology series, Alfred Hitchcock Presents and The Twilight Zone.
The boundaries which separate life and death are shadowy and vague.
Karloff introduced each story and occasionally starred in them. The video collection contains 3 episodes starring Karloff, including The Premature Burial, a story based on the work of Edgar Allan Poe. Karloff plays a doctor who saves a friend from an early grave. He then exacts a chilling revenge on the friend's murderous wife.
Stop the fight! Stop it! Stop it!
Karloff also stars in The Prediction as a nightclub mentalist, and in the title role of another episode called The Incredible Dr. Markison. Karloff portrays a university researcher forced into retirement who continues his macabre experiments at home.
It would hardly do for you to be discussing me in a bad light with my former colleagues, would it now?
Nearly half of the Thriller episodes were straight crime dramas. The rest incorporated elements of horror and the supernatural into their storylines. Some say the series didn't catch on because viewers never knew what to expect. Behind the scenes, Thriller was a favorite of TV writers and directors seeking artistic freedom. NBC seldom meddled with the show content.
I'll perish if I don't get warm pretty soon.
These videos also feature several young actors who went on to become famous. In Masquerade, Elizabeth Montgomery and Tom Poston play honeymooners seeking shelter from a storm. But their temporary haven becomes a house of horrors when they meet a ghoulish family led by John Carradine.
Well, what do you think?
Who designed this place, Charles Adams?
In The Grim Reaper, William Shatner stars as the favorite nephew of an eccentric old woman who has purchased a portrait with a bloody history. When the aunt dies, her greedy nephew finds out if the portrait is really cursed. Many of the same people who made The Twilight Zone a success contributed to Thriller. It's hard to say why Karloff's shows slipped through the cracks while The Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits became long-running favorites. But Thriller has always attracted a smaller cult following. And now, with these home videos, you too can join the elite group. The king of models, not Hugh Hefner. I'm talking about Randy Bowen. Next.
Come on, guys, you're such an inspiration. So hip, so hot, so happening too. You and hey,
That's a winning combination.
just wait till we get our hands on you. I can't wait, can't wait. Just wait till we get our hands on you. Hey.
What do you create when you open a can of soup? A noise, maybe? This was created a long time ago. You just reheat it. Now this is new kettle creations. Homemade taste you create fresh in 30 minutes. They even created a window so you can see all the pasta and beans. With kettle creations, there's a moment when you actually create soup. You could be part of that moment. Ah, there it is. New Lipton Kettle Creations. Soup so good, it's uncanny.
Want an adjustable bed but don't think you can afford one? Then you haven't priced Craftmatic adjustable beds recently. This Craftmatic Model 2 bed costs 50% less than these quality flatbeds. 50% less. And this Craftmatic Model 3 is just 50% of the Model 2's low cost. 50%. Craftmatic Model 3 and 2 beds adjust to all these healthful positions, provide optional heat and massage, and total body support, yet cost hundreds less than these quality flatbeds. Get our free catalog by mail, including information on Craftmatic 3s at 50% of Craftmatic 2's low cost.
Hi, we'd like your free catalog and 50% information by mail.
Certainly, sir.
It's easy. Call for this free catalog right away.
Call toll-free 1-800-652-4242. That's 1-800-652-4242. Call toll-free 1-800-652-4242.
I recently got some pretty good gift ideas while visiting with Randy Bowen, you know, the model maker, at a Mad Model party in Los Angeles. Now, this is one of his limited edition designs here. Pretty nice, huh? Run you about $5,500. Oh, no, not cheap. But he is the tops in his field. Now, Dark Horse does his current models, and you can find them at most large comic book stores across America. They range from about $125 to around $200, but well worth it. Now, if you don't know Randy Bowen very well, this should help. You hardcore model builders out there know that Randy Bowen is the foremost model sculptor on the planet. His sculptures are among the most popular and highly acclaimed models ever produced. Though much of his work is for Dark Horse Comics, where he oversees the model department, Randy also creates monsters, superheroes, and super babes for many of the other model companies. But your wife posed for that Linda Blair model there?
Well, yes. My word. You know, she did. Never met your wife, and I don't believe I want to.
Recently, I ran into Randy at the Mad Model Party. I seized the opportunity to find out how this guy rose to the top of his craft to become the Sultan of Sculpting, the King of Clay, the Potentate of Putty. My first question was, how much training have you had?
Really, none. I'd played around a little bit in high school, and I played with clay when I was, 6 years old in my grandmother's house, but it's pretty much self-taught.
I played with clay when I was a kid, too, and I can't even mold a meatball. So you figure Randy must have built a lot of models as a kid, right? Not so.
We were pretty poor growing up, so I usually tried to, go to the kid down the street who was building models, and occasionally I'd be able to save up enough money to buy something, but I think this is why I'm having so much fun now, is because I couldn't afford them as a kid, so now I get to make my own, and everybody else is, painting things that I've sculpted or created.
Randy's childhood passions were monster movies, cartoons, and comics. Because of his family's poverty, he developed a knack for building his own toys.
I didn't have the store-bought variety, store purchase variety, so I was forced to entertain myself drawing and creating things out of clay and wood. My father was a shoe cobbler, and so he had all these great grinders and things, and so I would spend my time after school working in his store, making things with my hands and just entertain myself, basically.
But how long can you go without wanting to get back to the modeling?
Oh, I'm constantly, my hands are always busy doing either drawing or painting or something, I don't know.
When he grew up, Randy decided to become an illustrator. He says he moved to California thinking he was Joe Cool Artist, only to discover he was one of thousands of Joe Cool artists. He fell into sculpting when a friend needed some help creating a line of fantasy figurines. But Randy found his dream job one day while reading a magazine.
I saw an ad in a magazine, somebody needed a monster to be sculpted, and I'm there, If I can sculpt a monster and get paid for it, all the better.
Sculpting models, Randy not only indulges his lifelong love of monsters, but he's found what he calls a great little niche.
To be honest, there's less competition. There's tons of really talented illustrators, but not as many sculptors. And if you're good, you get called upon by a lot of big companies to work on their projects.
With work from the model companies coming left and right, Randy Bowen definitely has his hands full. Hi, what do you do to relax?
I sculpt.
When we reactivate, we'll blast into collector's heaven at StarCon.
Refreshing. Revealing. Irresistible. Navy. Memorable. Marvelous. 1 in a million. Navy. You always feel perfect in Navy. Navy. The clean, classic fragrance by CoverGirl.
Still dialing 0 to call people collect?
Hello?
Stop! It's expensive. What to do? Dial 1-800-COLLECT. As seen on TV, dialing 1-800-COLLECT instead of 0 saves the people you call up to 44%.
Hello?
Hi, honey. Just dial 1-800-COLLECT. Follow the simple instructions and your call will go through in seconds.
Hello? Hi, Grandma.
Calling home, save yourself money.
What a deal!
Kids love it.
It's so easy.
1-800-COLLECT. Dial it today.
He is man. He is beast.
I have to go to him.
Ron Perlman, Linda Hamilton, Beauty and the Beast on the Sci-Fi Channel. Tomorrow at noon Eastern.
You are watching Sci-Fi Buzz on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Here's a chip that's got more ridginess. New Pringles Ridges, it's more crunch, yeah. If crunch is what you can't resist, a Pringles Ridge is more crunch than this. Crunch, yeah. Golden tasty crunciousness, not this bag chip's greasy mess. But the Pringles Ridges, it's more crunch, yeah. More crunch. Once you pop, Ridges, you can't stop.
You might be confused by all the different types of pain relievers and all their claims, but your doctor isn't. They call one type NSAIDs, like aspirin, ibuprofen, and the latest pain reliever called Aleve with naproxen sodium. The pain reliever in Tylenol is different from all these, especially when it comes to your stomach. To varying degrees, every NSAID brand can sometimes cause the side effect of stomach irritation. Tylenol won't. The choice is clear. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
Let's talk some more about gift ideas for your sci-fi friends. Looking to executive producer of Sci-Fi Buzz, Dick Crew, for some answers.
$3 grand, Mike. An original Planet of the Apes costume. This is the Gorilla Warrior. $3,000. What do you think?
No, wait a minute. This is actually in the movie?
This was in the original movie, yes. There's a guy in Beverly Hills who bought all the costumes from Planet of the Apes from Western Costume, and he's selling them now for $3 grand.
That's a joke, though, $3,000.
No,
He
it's
doesn't
not.
mean
In
that.
fact, when Western Costume had them, people would try to break in and steal these and ignore the Gone with the Wind costumes.
Really, they're clamoring for this stuff.
This stuff. If you see something like this at a convention for less than $3,000, grab it.
Oh, speaking of conventions, also a great place to get gift ideas for your sci-fi friends, conventions. And my favorite convention during the year, it happens in the fall in Los Angeles, is StarCon. This is StarCon. Now, this is the collectibles convention, one of my favorites, because it's just a wonderland of memorabilia from science fiction, fantasy, and horror. You should see what people collect and how much money they'll spend to collect it. In fact, I got to get to work. Pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. I'm trying to get to the Star Trek and Star Wars stuff here. Hi, Greg, how are you doing?
Good.
Boy, look at all this stuff. How much is this game right here? I've always wanted that one.
It's only 50.
Oh, $50! Goodness gracious. How about that Star Wars gun up there? I like that, the laser pistol. Let me take a look at that.
Sure.
Is this the one that was actually in the movie?
I'm not sure.
Don't lie to me, Greg. $150?
It's only $150, just like the day it came off the shelf.
Boy, that's like putting a gun to my head. What are you folks looking at?
I am looking at Star Wars action figures.
Oh, these are cool.
Definitely.
Okay, turn around here. Who are you?
I am Ryan Hinsman.
From?
From West Covina. I came all the way out here to get Star Wars figures.
Why are you so into Star Wars?
Because the movies are terrific.
Yeah?
They get you and they grab you and take you off in another place.
Are you on medication?
Some say I am, but I'm not.
Now, what have you gotten so far?
I've gotten Boba Fett's ship.
Yeah?
I got the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, my gosh, look at this.
Thing. $25 for the both of these.
For both?
For both. Can you believe
Boy,
that?
you'd think
the price
it's,
is here.
So, who's coming up here, kids or adults?
About half and half.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who buys?
Everybody's spending pretty freely. When they see what they want, they don't hesitate to put the money down.
Okay, these cards, when you have a complete set of this, it's $1,500.
This costs $350 because it's exactly like the original one.
Oh, ma'am. Hi, Mike Jarrett, Sci-Fi Buzz. What'd you get?
Avengers stuff, Blade Runner stuff.
Avengers and Blade Runner. How much money did you spend?
About $50.
$50?
Yeah.
On this stuff?
Yeah.
Why do you do that?
Because I love it.
Yeah.
You can't find it anywhere else.
Are you through, or is $50 the limit?
No, I'm not through yet.
No?
There may be a Blade Runner game for $55 that I'm considering.
Do you do this a lot?
More than I should.
So what's your house look like?
Tons of bookshelves with tons of books and 1999 spaceships on it and Star Trek props and all that kind of stuff.
How'd this happen to you?
Young age of my husband.
Oh, it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's a husband's fault.
Yes, I'm the geek in the family. Yeah, that's me.
Okay, now, so what are you selling?
Me?
When fans come up, what's the number one question they ask?
They said, my favorite movie, it scared me half to death. And he said, and my child, now I showed it to my child, and it frightened him too. They said it holds up and it still frightens people.
What frightens me is the enormous amount of cash people are willing to pay for this stuff. I'd better get out of here before I go Wait a minute. The Leonard Nimoy album I've been looking for? Look at this. Shatner comes alive. Oh, this is exciting. I hope I have enough cash on me. Our entire staff here at Sci-Fi Buzz wants to wish you and yours, as they say on TV, a fantastical holiday season. You're like, oh, big wad of snow there. So wish them something. Say happy holidays or something.
Happy holidays.
Okay, now,
Happy New Year.
Now, we're not going to be back for a couple of weeks here because of some special Sci-Fi Channel programming. We'll be back in 2 weeks. In 1995, join us for some great, wonderful Sci-Fi Buzz surprises. See you then. See you next year.
Bye.
Give me that.
The mysteries of aliens, the magic of Houdini, the miracles of angels. Now the real stories. People and events are explained in Mysteries, Magic, and Miracles, hosted by Patrick McNee. Coming up next.